Welcome in, guys. We're back on our overreaction videos for week 4 this time. You know how it goes. We're going to break these up into separate videos, each one going over our overreaction. So make sure to check each one out if you like what you've seen in this one. We brought in a new special guest for this week, Mr. Riley Goodwin. Say hi, Riley.
What's up, everybody?
All right, so let's get started. We got our first game this week. We're going to kick it over to Chase with his overreaction.
So I'm looking at the Oklahoma State, Iowa State game. I think this is easy. The main reason I'm looking at this, Oklahoma State loses by 7 points to Iowa State, of course. But the big problem here is Iowa State has absolutely been horrible this year. Well, not horrible, but they lose to Ohio by 3 points, only score 7. They lose to Iowa, only score 13. They beat the University of Northern Illinois, I think that is, North Illinois, something like that, right? But they only score, I think it was 30 points, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 30 points, right? Not great opponents. And then all of a sudden, Iowa State comes out against Oklahoma State and drops 34. And then also on top of that, Oklahoma State this week before loses by 26. Not to Alabama. Not to Auburn. Not to the University of Alabama at Birmingham. Not to the University of North Alabama. They lose to the University of South Alabama by 26 points. At home. And guys, I don't know, but I'm looking around my walls right now and I'm seeing a lot of writing that maybe Mike Gundy, it's time for him to hit the road. Am I off in that take?
You know, I'll jump in.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I don't think you are. I've been kind of off on Mike Gundy now I know they had that run to the Big 12 championship game a couple years ago and they had that good season, but I've really been off the Gundy bus for a good 3 or 4 years now. I think it's time for Oklahoma State to start looking in a new direction. I think things that program have gotten stale and have an opportunity going forward in the Big 12. We're looking at a Big 12 that's not going to have Oklahoma, not going to have Texas. And really, when you look at who are the teams that can position themselves to be the powerhouses of the future Big 12, I think you got to look at Central Florida, Oklahoma State, Kansas State, Texas Tech, TCU, Baylor, and Utah. Like, those are the teams. Then Colorado, for those Colorado hardcore people. Those are the teams you got to look at for who could really cement themselves as a powerhouse in that conference. And I don't think with Gundy, Oklahoma State can do that. I do think it's time to start going in another direction. And it's less the loss to Iowa State and more the drubbing at the hands of South Alabama. That tells me they need to start looking somewhere else.
Right. Riley, you can go ahead, bud.
Well, first off, let's put some respect on South Alabama's name.
That's right.
As a Sun Belt fan right here, group of 5 guy. South Alabama's a good team, but also, we can't act like Oklahoma State has been some kind of powerhouse in the recent years. When's the last time they won a Big 12 conference championship? I mean, I'm not saying this is all going to be on Mike Gundy, but, I mean, I just don't think the expectations are very realistic for Oklahoma State to be running all these games. And honestly, I kind of expected Iowa State to win that game. So, I mean, is Mike Gundy the answer? I don't think so. I don't think he's not the answer. I just think Oklahoma State isn't necessarily the powerhouse that people think they are.
Yeah, I mean, I never would have, said that Oklahoma State was a powerhouse at any point in time, honestly. I mean, yeah, they had that one run to the Big 12 title where they played Baylor, but other than that, like you said, Quinn, the past couple of years just been downhill. And I look at an Iowa State team that last year only won, 2 ball games or something just unreal, because the year before they had won 10 games, came into the season with high expectations, and just face-planted last year. And they came into this game as a 3.5-point favorite. And it blows my mind, because Gundy is one of those guys that's just a college football, legend. And to see a legend at a school that he's been at for God knows how long, Quinn, you may know exactly how many years, but
I think it's 11. How many?
He's been there since 2005 as head coach. Wow. Okay, so 18 years. That's a long time to be at one place. And the thought of somebody else being the head coach of Oklahoma State kind of upsets me because of, just Gundy. I mean, that's who he is. However, when changes need to be made, changes need to be made. And Chase, I agree. The writing is on the wall. I think college football has left him behind, sort of like another team that we're going to talk about in another video. Do what now?
I was about to say that. Do you think it's similar to the Kirk Ferentz situation in Iowa?
I genuinely do. I think it's time to move on. Like, college football has changed directions. And these old coaches, these old school coaches, now Saban's an exception to the rule because he has changed with college football. He's not the same coach now that he was in 2008 or 9 whenever he got to Alabama. He's not the same coach. He doesn't run the same philosophy. However, Gundy, and the same thing with Iowa. Even Iowa's offensive coordinator is the head coach's son. Like you just can't do those sort of things and get away with it at the highest level. So it's definitely time for him to be gone. This was a shocker to me. I actually put out a parlay and had Oklahoma State winning this game as an upset just because I thought it was good value. I was wrong.
And I'll leave it at this. So, I'm just going to give you a timeline of Gundy, just showing you Oklahoma State through and through. Played there from 86 to 89 as a quarterback, wide receivers coach in 90, 91 through 93 quarterback coach, 94 offensive coordinator, 95 quarterback coach. Then left for a couple years, came back in 01 as assistant head coach, offensive coordinator. Then 05 was officially the head coach. He's been there forever, man. But I'll leave it at this. This is what Georgia would be if they kept Mark Richt as head coach. Mike Gundy is a great head coach. I truly believe that. But at the end of the day, Mark Richt never really won anything substantial to really stamp his name on Georgia football forever. And Mike Gundy, the main thing you're going to have is that he was there for a long, long period of time as a decent to good head coach.
Wow, I cannot believe you just threw the Mark Richt slander in there in a video. This man has nothing to do with Gundy at Oklahoma State, and this man finds a way to slander his name. Riley, anything else you want to add on here?
I mean, not really. I mean, Mark Richt is catching strays out here. This is disrespectful, man. But honestly, it's kind of true. Honestly, that's a good analogy. I had no idea Mike Gundy had been there that long. You're talking all the way back to the 90s that he was at least had a play in the university. That's crazy. I do think that I don't know if Oklahoma State's capable of bringing in like a Kirby Smart type guy, but I definitely think that they should be looking in other directions. But I don't ever expect them, like I said earlier, to be some kind of powerhouse.
Yeah.
That's going to be the end of today's video. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure if you liked this one to watch the others in this series that just got released today. We thank you for coming in. I've been Quinn. This has been Three Ball Takes, Freddie, Chase, and our special guest, Riley. Riley, thanks for coming on.